There's a painful truth that most people avoid their entire lives, and that truth is this: poverty is not always created by lack of money. Sometimes poverty is created by daily habits, tiny decisions, small routines repeated every single day until they become a prison. Your future is hidden in your daily routine, and most people don't realize they are building a future they secretly hate. A few years ago, there was a man named Daniel. Every morning, he woke up exhausted, angry at life, frustrated with his bank account, and jealous of people doing better than him. He blamed the government. He blamed rich people. He blamed luck. But one thing he never blamed was his own habits. Every night, he stayed awake, scrolling through meaningless videos for hours. Every morning, he hit the snooze button until he was already late. He spent money trying to look successful while drowning in debt behind closed doors. He complained constantly but never changed anything. And one day, sitting alone in his small apartment with overdue bills spread across the table, he whispered something that changed his life forever. "Maybe my life won't change until I do." That sentence hit him like lightning, because deep down, he realized something painful. Rich people and poor people often wake up in the same world, under the same sky, with the same 24 hours. But their daily habits pull them toward completely different destinies. The chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. Most people think wealth is about talent. No, many talented people stay broke forever. Some think it's about luck. No, luck may open a door, but habits decide whether you stay inside the room. The real difference between rich people and poor people is hidden in what they do repeatedly when nobody is watching. And this is why today's message matters. Because one habit can change your future. One decision repeated daily can completely transform your life. And if you listen carefully until the end, you may realize that the life you dream about is not as far away as you think. A man becomes what he thinks about all day long. The first habit that separates poor people from rich people is how they start their mornings. Poor people usually wake up reacting to life. Rich people wake up preparing for life. One starts the day with panic, distraction, and excuses. The other starts with intention, focus, and purpose. Win the morning and you win the day. Think about it carefully. If the first thing you touch every morning is your phone, your mind immediately becomes crowded with noise, messages, drama, news, stress, comparison. Your energy is stolen before your feet even touch the ground. But successful people protect their mornings like their future depends on it, because it does. Some read. Some exercise. Some plan their goals. Some sit in silence and think. But almost all successful people understand one thing: the quality of your morning shapes the quality of your decisions. And decisions shape destiny. The second habit is how they use free time. Poor people escape reality. Rich people improve reality. One spends hours consuming entertainment while complaining about life. The other spends at least part of that time learning something valuable. If you do not sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. Now listen carefully, because this part hurts. There are people who spend 5 hours every day watching other people succeed online, but cannot spend 30 minutes improving themselves. That is not lack of opportunity. That is self-destruction disguised as comfort. Rich people understand something powerful. Knowledge changes income. The more valuable you become, the more the world rewards you. That's why successful people read books, learn skills, study communication, improve discipline, and sharpen their minds constantly, because they know money follows value. The third habit is how they talk. Poor people complain more than they create. Rich people create more than they complain. Complaining about a problem without creating a solution is called whining. Look around carefully. Some people complain every single day about prices, jobs, family, stress, traffic, politics, and life itself. But after years of complaining, nothing changes. Why? Because complaining releases emotion, but it does not build results. Successful people focus differently. Instead of asking, "Why is life unfair?" they ask, "What can I do next?" That question alone can transform a human being, because victims wait for rescue. Winners build solutions. The fourth habit is spending money emotionally. Poor people often spend money trying to impress people who do not care. Rich people spend money building assets, opportunities, and freedom. Too many people buy things they do not need with money. They do not have to impress people they do not even like. This is one of the biggest traps in modern life. People buy expensive clothes while their minds stay broke. They buy luxury phones while their bank account cries silently at night. They chase appearances instead of stability. Meanwhile, wealthy people often live below their means for years while building investments, businesses, skills, and long-term security. Because rich people understand something most people ignore, freedom is more important than looking rich. The fifth habit is discipline. Poor people wait to feel motivated. Rich people act even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. That quote alone can change your entire life, because motivation is temporary. Some mornings you will feel tired. Some nights you will feel discouraged. Some days life will hit you hard enough to make quitting feel easier than continuing. But disciplined people keep moving. That is why discipline creates miracles. A poor mindset says, I'll start tomorrow. A rich mindset says, start now, improve later. And honestly, most dreams die because of delay. Not lack of talent, not lack of intelligence. Delay, fear, excuses. You don't need perfect conditions to change your life. You need consistent action. Even small action repeated daily becomes powerful over time. Small disciplines repeated with consistency lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. Daniel eventually learned this lesson too. He stopped wasting his mornings. He stopped spending money to impress others. He started reading 10 pages a day. He started waking up earlier. He started learning sales online after work. And at first, nothing changed. That's the part people hate. For months, his life looked almost the same. But internally, he was becoming someone different. And eventually, the results arrived. Because success is silent before it becomes visible. The world only notices the harvest, but nobody sees the seasons of planting, watering, struggling, and waiting. The oak tree does not apologize for growing slowly. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe nobody sees your effort yet. Maybe your progress feels invisible. But never underestimate what daily habits are doing beneath the surface of your life. Because 1 year from now, you could either be trapped in the same cycle or living a completely different reality. And it all begins with what you choose to do every single day. The sixth habit that separates poor people from rich people is how they react to failure. Poor people see failure as proof that they should stop. Rich people see failure as part of the process. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. This mindset changes everything. Most people quit too early because they believe successful people never struggle. But behind every successful person is a season nobody talks about. Sleepless nights, rejection, embarrassment, doubt, sacrifice, moments where they almost gave up. The difference is simple. Poor-minded people let failure define them, while successful people let failure teach them. Think about how many people abandon their dreams after one bad experience. One failed business, one rejection email, one mistake, one difficult season. And suddenly they convince themselves they are not capable. But every master was once a beginner. Every successful person once looked foolish. Every expert once struggled. Do not fear being a beginner. Fear staying exactly where you are. Rich people understand that temporary pain can create permanent growth. They are willing to look weak while becoming stronger. They are willing to fail publicly while learning privately. That is why they eventually rise while others remain stuck in fear. The seventh habit is the people they surround themselves with. Poor people often stay in environments that destroy their mindset. Rich people protect their environment carefully. You will eventually become the average of the people you spend the most time with. This is powerful because energy is contagious. If you constantly surround yourself with people who gossip, complain, waste time, and avoid responsibility, eventually you will begin acting the same way without even noticing it. Negativity spreads quietly. Excuses spread quietly. Small thinking spreads quietly. But so does ambition. So does discipline. So does growth. Successful people choose relationships that challenge them to grow instead of relationships that make them comfortable staying the same. That does not mean they think they are better than others. It simply means they understand one truth: environment shapes identity. Imagine planting a strong seed in poisoned soil. No matter how powerful the seed is, growth becomes difficult. Human beings are the same way. Some people are not poor because they lack talent. They are poor because they stay surrounded by people who kill their vision every day. People who laugh at big dreams. People who normalize laziness. People who become uncomfortable whenever someone tries to improve their life. Small minds fear growth because growth exposes their excuses. And sometimes the hardest part of success is not building discipline. It is walking away from environments that keep pulling you backward. The eighth habit is how they think about time. Poor people often trade time only for survival. Rich people use time to build freedom. Time is more valuable than money because money can return, but time never does. This habit separates lives completely. Many people waste years doing things that keep them busy but never move them forward. They wake up, survive the day, escape reality at night, then repeat the cycle again and again until life becomes predictable pain. But successful people ask a different question every day. Will this matter 5 years from now? That question changes decisions. Instead of spending every evening consuming distractions, they build something. A skill, a business idea, a side income, a healthier body, a stronger mindset. Because rich people understand something dangerous about comfort. Comfort can quietly destroy potential. There are millions of people alive today who are not living, they are simply repeating the same habits, repeating the same excuses, repeating the same fears. And the tragedy is that they do not even realize life is slipping away while they wait for someday. But someday is not a real day. The only thing you truly own is today. The ninth habit is personal responsibility. Poor people blame. Rich people take ownership. The moment you take responsibility for your life is the moment your power returns. This may be the hardest truth in the entire video, because blaming others feels easier. It feels easier to blame parents, the economy, society, bad luck, age, stress, or circumstances. And yes, life is unfair sometimes. Some people truly begin life with disadvantages others will never understand. But successful people refuse to let pain become permission for surrender. They ask themselves, what can I control? That mindset creates power. Because when you blame everything outside yourself, you give away control over your future. But when you take responsibility, something incredible happens. Your mindset shifts from helplessness to action, and action changes lives. Daniel learned this lesson after losing a job he depended on for years. At first, he was angry at everyone. He blamed the company. He blamed the manager. He blamed life itself. But then one night he looked into the mirror and realized something painful. Blaming others had never improved his future. So instead of spending months feeling sorry for himself, he used the pain differently. He learned new skills. He worked temporary jobs. He studied communication every night. He failed interviews. He got rejected again and again. But slowly, the man who once complained about everything became someone stronger. Not because life became easier, but because he became stronger mentally. The strongest people are not those who avoid struggle. They are the ones who grow through it. And finally, the 10th habit that separates poor people from rich people is vision. Poor people think only about today. Rich people think about the future. A person without vision will always return to old habits. This is where transformation truly begins. When someone has no vision for their future, distractions become powerful. Laziness becomes normal. Wasting time feels harmless because there is no bigger purpose pulling them forward. But when a person develops vision, everything changes. A strong vision gives pain meaning. It gives sacrifice meaning. It gives discipline meaning. Because now you are no longer suffering randomly. You are building something. Maybe it is financial freedom. Maybe it is giving your parents a better life. Maybe it is escaping generational poverty. Maybe it is proving to yourself that you were meant for more than survival. Whatever your reason is, hold on to it tightly. Because vision creates endurance. And endurance creates transformation. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 month and underestimate what they can do in 5 years of consistency. 5 years of disciplined mornings, 5 years of learning, 5 years of saving money wisely, 5 years of refusing to quit. That level of consistency can completely rewrite a human life. The scary part is this: habits do not care whether your future becomes success or regret. They work either way. Every day your habits are building something. Either a stronger future or a harder future. And one day, the results become impossible to hide. There comes a moment in every person's life when excuses stop sounding convincing. A moment when you get tired of hearing your own promises. A moment when you realize that years have passed, but deep inside, you are still standing in the same place. And maybe this video found you during that moment. Maybe you are exhausted from surviving. Maybe you are tired of pretending everything is okay while silently fighting battles nobody sees. Maybe you are tired of watching other people move forward while your own dreams feel stuck in the dark. But listen carefully. Your life can still change. No matter how many mistakes you made, no matter how many years you wasted, no matter how many times you failed, while there is life, there is still possibility. Most people think transformation happens suddenly. They imagine one lucky break, one perfect opportunity, one magical moment that changes everything overnight. But real transformation is quieter than that. It happens when a tired person decides to wake up earlier. It happens when someone chooses discipline over excuses for the first time. It happens when a person finally says, "I refuse to stay this version of myself any longer." That is where new lives begin. Not in comfort, not in motivation, but in decision. And the truth is, rich people are not always the smartest people in the room. Many of them simply mastered habits that poor-minded people ignore every single day. Success is rarely owned overnight. It is rented daily, and the rent is due every morning. That quote carries real power, because every sunrise gives you another opportunity to become someone different. Another chance to think differently. Another chance to break destructive patterns. Another chance to rebuild your future one decision at a time. But most people never use those opportunities because they wait for perfect conditions, and perfect conditions never come. Life will always be difficult. There will always be stress. There will always be fear. There will always be uncertainty. The people who change their lives are not the people who waited for easy moments. They are the people who moved forward despite difficult moments. The brave are not people without fear. The brave are people who act while afraid. And maybe fear has controlled your life for too long. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being embarrassed, fear of starting over, fear of not being good enough. But understand this deeply. Every successful person you admire once felt those same fears. The difference is they refuse to let fear become their master. Because on the other side of fear is growth. On the other side of discipline is freedom. On the other side of consistency is a completely different life. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you truly changed your habits starting today. Imagine waking up with confidence instead of anxiety. Imagine having financial peace instead of constant stress. Imagine becoming the person your younger self once dreamed about. That future is possible, but it will demand something from you. It will demand sacrifice. It will demand patience. It will demand discipline when motivation disappears. And most importantly, it will demand that you stop lying to yourself. Because deep down, most people already know what is destroying their lives. They know the habits. They know the distractions. They know the excuses. But awareness without action changes nothing. A dream without discipline becomes regret. And regret is one of the heaviest pains a human being can carry. There are people right now who would give anything to go back in time and use their days differently. People who wasted decades procrastinating, decades doubting themselves, decades waiting for permission to chase the life they wanted. Now they look back with pain because they realize something terrifying. Life moved on without waiting for them. Do not let that become your story. Do not spend another year trapped in the same cycle. Do not keep building a future you secretly hate through daily habits that are destroying your potential. Because whether you realize it or not, your habits are shaping your destiny every single day. Every morning matters. Every hour matters. Every small decision matters. The person you become is created slowly by what you repeatedly do. The future is not created by miracles. It is created by choices. And yes, the beginning will feel difficult. People may doubt you. Some may laugh at your discipline. Some may become uncomfortable when you start changing. Because growth changes relationships. Growth changes conversations. Growth changes priorities. But never apologize for becoming stronger. Never apologize for protecting your future. Never apologize for wanting more from life. You were not born just to survive until death. You were born with potential inside you that most people will never fully discover because they surrendered too early. Do not surrender. Not now. Not when your future could still become extraordinary. Remember Daniel, the man who once blamed everyone for his problems? Years later, his life looked completely different. Not because he won the lottery. Not because someone rescued him. But because he changed his habits. One by one, day by day, slowly, quietly. He became disciplined. He became focused. He became intentional with his time. And eventually, the same man who once struggled to believe in himself became someone capable of changing not only his own life, but his family's future too. That is the power of daily habits. Small actions repeated consistently can create a life that once felt impossible. And if another human being can change their life, so can you. Right now, somewhere in the world, another person is waking up early while others sleep. Another person is studying while others waste time. Another person is sacrificing comfort to build freedom. Another person is refusing to quit. And years from now, people will call them lucky. But you and I know the truth. Success is built in private long before it becomes visible in public. The price of success is paid daily. So when this video ends, do not just feel inspired for a few minutes and return to old habits tomorrow. That is what most people do. And that is why most people stay stuck. Instead, choose one habit today, just one. Wake up earlier. Read daily. Stop wasting money. Exercise consistently. Learn a skill. Control your distractions. Take responsibility. Choose growth over comfort. And then repeat it tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, because consistency is where ordinary people become extraordinary. One day you will look back and realize that the life you wanted did not begin with a massive opportunity. It began with a small decision. A decision to stop living like a victim. A decision to stop wasting your potential. A decision to finally become the person you were capable of becoming all along. And maybe that decision begins today. Your habits are either building your future or stealing it. Choose wisely.